And now, AM650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call on AM650.
Well, hello, and welcome to this edition of Experts on Call. I'm Sterling Fox, joined in studio by the president and founder of FairTradeWorks here in Vancouver. Jim Perkins is back with us. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Sterling. How are you?
I am well, thanks. Nice to see you again. It's good to talk to you again. We had a chat about FairTradeWorks a few weeks ago, and I'm curious as to any reaction from our listeners with respect to this incredible new idea you bring to the British Columbia construction scene.
Yeah, we've, as always, as we touch new markets and new consumers, it's just constant positivity and great feedback, and we appreciate the time people take to call in and send us emails, and yeah, we had another massive response, another warm response, and people are just happy that we're here,
Well, I was sitting at home the night of the broadcast listening to it with my wife.
Right.
And she had never heard of FairTradeWorks before. We have undergone a few renovation experiences in our days, and she just thinks this is a fantastic idea. So let's start at square one,
Okay.
because this is, let's assume now that people are hearing you and about FairTradeWorks for the very first time. So let's find out a little bit about yourself, Jim Perkins, because you have worked in the construction business literally all over the world, beginning home in England, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I've basically worked in this industry, in this sector my whole life, and like we mentioned on the previous show, my father was a big developer, and I've been on construction sites since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I've traveled and worked all over the world and gained a huge amount of experience, and it's all I know. I've been ever evolving in my kind of practices through the industries, and I've gained so much knowledge along my travels, and I've been lucky enough to work on all sorts of projects, and brought me to this place where I stand now in the marketplace and in my career, and we're ready to take it to the next level.
Well, you have worked on construction projects in the UK, which
Right.
is home, also in the Middle East. You spent a great deal of time in Australia, and now you're here in Canada. How long have you been in the Great White North?
I've been happy to be here for coming up a decade now, nearly 10 years. So I came from Australia and Costa Rica, where I've been bouncing between, and I've lived here full time for 10 years and been working full time for that time period too.
Because you have this ability to look at an industry from a global perspective, Jim, how does the construction industry in Canada stack up against its counterparts around the world, like Australia, like Europe?
Yeah, I think the larger construction models, like, highway building, bridge building, all that stuff is very on par with global markets. But I feel, and that's where my thought process to develop this company, the residential commercial market is a little unregulated and undisciplined, and I think coming from my construction background in England and Australia, where it is very highly regulated, it's very strict, it's very lots of rules and regulations to keep quality high and protect the homeowner. I think here in Canada it's a little looser, and we all read the papers, we all hear the horror stories, and I think that's the aftermath of this system that stands right now for the construction industry.
Well, now, after spending a decade in the Canadian construction industry, so now you know how we do business in our country, literally from the ground up or from the inside out.
Right.
After 10 years, you decide to start your own company. It's FairTradeWorks. Why did you start your own company, and what is different about FairTradeWorks?
Okay, yeah, I've actually had an existing construction company, Perkins Construction, which has been operating in Canada for 8 years, and it's been very successful, and we're ever growing. But FairTradeWorks is a brand new construction model, which has taken me 6 months to a year to evolve, and it's been in the marketplace for 6 months, and it's just basically a brand new system of how construction could be run, and we launched it to the residential market, but it's a system that can be scaled up or scaled down from a tiny bathroom renovation up to high-rise development. But it all revolves around the modern marketplace. It revolves around customer service. It revolves around transparency. It revolves around technology and software. And it's a business model that could be used for any industry. But of course, I'm in the construction industry, so we launched it to that marketplace.
But you describe your company as construction advocates.
Right.
Because you go to bat for the people who retain you.
Yeah, we're not a construction company, so to speak. We're a construction brand, and we're compiled of a team of young, ambitious, and very educated individuals who work with the homeowners on an advisory basis to guide them through the construction process. And we have a huge resource of contracts and trades which we use to complete these projects under our guidance.
So if a person is contemplating a construction project, now you mentioned whether it's a small bathroom or kitchen renovation,
Yep.
or perhaps an addition to a whole half of the house is going to expand, whatever the size and whatever the project, most of us, and I say most because some of us are considerably more expert at this field than the rest of us. I'm part of the rest of us.
Right.
Most of us don't know what the heck's going on, or mostly, Jim, where to start. We have this great idea, and we may even have a bit of a budget set aside.
Yep.
But how do we connect the dots?
Exactly, and that's what we're here for. We're basically here to partner with the homeowners and navigate them through the whole, from A to Z, from where to start to what's involved, to realistic budgets, to realistic timelines, to who to choose for a contractor or a trade, and with City Hall, getting through City Hall, do you need a permit, all these things to make sure that through the whole process the homeowner is very educated, very enlightened, and again, blow the smoke off, so it's very transparent. So from the initial free consultation right through to completion, they're fully kept in the loop, and there's so much planning up front that before we even engage in transferring any money or moving ahead, the homeowners know exactly what they're in for as far as the whole process.
Okay, so somebody who has a project coming up.
Right.
The idea is starting to come together. The budget has actually been set aside and is building. And this is 2013. Sometime this year, by gosh, we're going to do X at our house. So, okay, now we've decided that that's going to accomplish. We've established a goal. And we're going to accomplish the goal, but we're not real sure about how to get there. Right. So a company like FairTradeWorks is a kind of a service provider,
right,
if you will, almost, because you have the capacity to completely organize an entire project. And it begins with a complimentary consultation, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Anybody that wants to talk to us or spend some time with us simply, goes to our website and puts an online submission in, or picks up the phone and calls us. We get back within 24, 48 hours to set up the initial consultation. It's all free of charge, and we just go into our client's home, or they come to our office, and we discuss openly what they envision of what's going on, and then we give them our feedback about what has to happen to get to this end point, the new home construction, dream house, bathroom renovation, whatever it may be. We're just there to sit down and listen, and then advise on, is this realistic? Do you have all the information that you need to carry on, and then basically walk them through the steps that need to be taken to complete the project.
Okay, now you mentioned a website. Now, some people listening to the broadcast right now are in their vehicles, so we don't recommend they try to go to your website while the wheels are turning.
Right.
But other people are near the computer. So what's the web address?
The website is www.fairtradeworks.biz.
FairTradeWorks.biz, B-I-Z.
Yep.
Okay.
FairTradeWorks.biz. So yeah, they can go on the website. It's very informative. We spent large sums of money and so much time getting the content very well written in this, and you can go on there and learn quickly, or if you spend some time, you can really go into depth of what the company is all about, the ethics behind it, how we talk about creating market value and all these things, which is what the consumer wants to see. So yeah, the website, and we've been lucky that people, like the average hit on a website is maybe 20 or 30 seconds. We watch our stats very clearly, and our average visitor to the website is sitting on there for 5 or 6 minutes, right, which shows that we've done our job correctly.
Exactly.
People are really engaging in what we're doing and getting educated about this new movement. So,
and I think one of the things you notice when you go to the website, one of the first things you notice, which is why you end up spending a little more time than just a cursory in and out, is it's very tech savvy, it's very user friendly, and it's very, very current.
Right.
All the latest communications tools vis-a-vis the internet are all right there on display. So this is a company that is technically quite advanced.
I would hope so. I'd hope that we get tagged with that, because we are very forward thinking. We are very tech savvy. We have in-house designers and software programmers and tech department that's there alongside us. You know, we run a paperless office. We all work electronically with our, you know, we have tablets, mobile devices, hybrid cars. We're just a modern forward company. You know, we're trying to pull the construction industry up to date and really move with the times. And the aftermath of all this thought process and things we've put in place is a phenomenal product and something that, as we for the consumer, for the client, it's just, you know, they can't go wrong. It's just the thing we hear time and time again is, wow, this just makes complete sense. You know, there's nothing that you think you can really fault us on in this business model. It's just, we're completely transparent. And once they get the grasp of what we're doing, they sit back and enjoy the ride. You know?
I think people might even be a little shocked by the transparency of it all, Jim.
Right.
Because construction, particularly residential or small-scale construction of a personal nature, is usually it's sort of shrouded in mystery. Well, you know, we think we can bring it in for X dollars, but, you know, there are lots of variables, so we don't hold us to that quote. And there's a lot of big question marks out there, which makes going for a project like this, you feel kind of dicey, because you're kind of walking on eggshells. You don't know the territory, and all you hear is, well, this could go wrong or that could go wrong.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of, it costs this much unless this or that, but, you know, again, what we do, we go up front and we work all the construction costs out, and we put all these projects out to tender. So, and we're binded in heavily contracts. So when we come back with that dollar value of that project, we stick to that. You know, we're very transparent, and I think that's one of our biggest pats on the back from our consumers, is that there's no surprises. Everything's organized up front. And once we've done all that work and solidified those documents, the homeowner can basically sit back and enjoy the process of the construction.
Okay, so we've heard the broadcast. We've followed up with a visit to the website. We're intrigued enough to follow up with a phone call. Right. Pardon me, and one of your staff people.
Yeah, we call them advisors. Construction
okay.
Advisors. Yeah.
We'll come out to either my house,
yep,
or we'll arrange a meeting place. But frankly, the project's going to take place in my house. I want your guy to come over and take a look at it and walk through and bring the measuring tape or whatever. So once that individual arrives and you sit down and discuss, here's what we'd like to do. Here's what we've set aside for it. First of all, is our budget realistic? I guess is what you want to know.
Yep.
And then the other thing that most of us need to know is, how does this actually get done? Because we know what we want the finished product to be like, and we certainly know what the current thing looks like. There's a big gap between the two.
Yeah, you know what? I think a lot of, because there is such a melee, the residential construction market, that I think homeowners, as the marketplace stands, maybe they ask more questions than they really need to, because they are nervous and they're afraid of getting ripped off, or all these uncertainties. So maybe they pry, or they've educated themselves maybe too much. And again, through our experience, when people actually understand what we're doing and can be really relaxed through our process, they back down, so to speak, you know, and they say, you know what, I don't really care. I don't really want to know the nuts and bolts. I just know that I'm going to get this, what you've promised me for this amount of dollars. And in small nuts and bolts, they don't really care. They can sit back and relax then, you know. But I think that kind of standoff between the contractors and the homeowners is something that's evolved over the last 10 years of kind of the mess that's been made. So I think we're trying to break down those boundaries so we can work together as a team to create an end product, rather than this cat and mouse game where there's just so much time and stress and headaches involved in the whole process, you know.
Our guest on this edition of Experts on Call is the founder and president of FairTradeWorks. Jim Perkins is with us. I'm Sterling Fox, and we'll be right back.
There's still more ahead with Experts on Call, the show focused on delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.